Well, the great thing about Mount Midoriyama at American Ninja Warrior is it's always changing. This year, I think we have more talented athletes than we've ever had before, so the course had to rise to the occasion to challenge them even more, so the difficulty level's through the roof.
And then really you had different types of athletes. You had hybrid athletes, you had a lot of guys who were rock climbers. We saw some more of the parkour type guys, but the thing that was impressive to me though was the fact that you had guys, not necessarily the big guys, but the smaller guys who were more successful as the course got harder and harder.
But this is a course that hits back. Well, we're here in Las Vegas. We're right off the strip, as you can see, and this is Mount Midoriyama. I think with all the attractions on Las Vegas, this is the biggest thing here. This is season 5 of American Ninja Warrior, and it's never been bigger.
Let me tell you something. I've done the Super Bowl, I've done big playoff games in the National Football League, and nothing has been as big as Mount Midoriyama. Not only is its size, it's so massive, but the lights, everything, the production, this is big time prime time.
Even the hosts are bigger. Thousands of people have tackled Mount Midoriyama. No American has ever conquered it. I think this year, though, we very well could have the first American Ninja Warrior in our midst.
Well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and be bold about it. I think that there's one guy who I've really been eyeing since the very beginning. There's a kid by the name of Brent Stephenson. This kid is impressive. When you watch the way he moves around the course, he's got this certain calm and coolness about him. I think he could be our first American Ninja Warrior.
One of the great things about this competition is it's not necessarily just professional athletes. These are everyday people, people who are doctors and nurses and firemen and teachers, parents, mothers, fathers, and they train year-round to get here. So it's so wonderful that they get this shot, this moment on the big stage in front of the bright lights.
Yeah, and you know, I think too the commitment level that goes with it. When you think about being a mother and a father, you know, coming out here to compete for American Ninja Warrior, you got to think of what are they giving up? They give up time with their kids. They give up time, you know, that they could be spending at work. And they put that time and they work on their craft, and that's to become the next American Ninja Warrior.
And the great thing is we have wild cards. So we were able to bring in some people who otherwise you might not have seen. A lot of the female competitors who just impressed us throughout all the qualifying rounds we had.
In other words, they had the it factor.
Right.
That's what they had.
Well, the qualifying courses this year were absolutely more difficult than we've ever had in the past. But Mount Midoriyama, it's 4 stages, each one more difficult than the one before it. It is unrelentingly hard. No athlete has ever faced anything like this.
And when you look at it, it's to the eyes, you may think, oh, I could get through this. You know, so if you're a viewer at home, you're watching, it's like, it's not that hard. It really is. You know, I've tackled a lot of guys. I've played different types of sports. And when I look at this, I get scared, especially when you're standing and you're looking at the raw feeling of it, when you can feel it, touch it, see it up close. You realize the magnitude of Mount Midoriyama. I mean, it's over my head, really. It really is.
The most unforgiving element is there's no do-overs. One mistake and you're done.
Hey, you see, you don't get timeouts. You don't say, you know, you don't get an instant replay. I mean, there's none of that.
No 2-minute warning like those
2-minute
football players.
You know, it's like, Coach,
this is a real sport.
Let me catch my breath. There's none of that. I mean, you got to go straight through it. If you don't have it, you get gassed, you're done.
Well, on this course, you're racing against the clock, and you're racing against yourself. I think it's a combination of having a cerebral approach, but then not overthinking the obstacles.
Yeah, you're so right, because you're really competing with yourself. If you start competing with some of the other athletes, you start looking at maybe their flaws or the things that they do well, you start to compare yourself. And to me, I think comparison to another athlete is the biggest. It's going to create failure, is what that really is. And so I think competing against yourself is the best thing.
I think the best competitors come in with a plan, but when they're on the course, they're in the moment. I think the greatest part of this season for me has been the growth of American Ninja Warrior. I got to go to my hometown. We had a qualifying event in Denver, Colorado, and getting to see the grassroots support and how this show has grown from the tiny show that started out on cable now to this network, really this national phenomenon. It's been unbelievable, the response we've seen.
Yeah, the popularity. Everywhere I go now, people are telling me, oh, American Ninja Warrior. I mean, it's not this thing that's an underground deal. It's really a mainstream type sport now. And then the other thing to me, the biggest thing that stood out for me is trying the warped wall. I won't lie. I was one of those guys. You remember back in Venice?
I did.
I was one of those guys.
I laugh now. I didn't then. He's a big boy.
I was like, I've tried this before. Look, I'm in the NFL. I can do this. Running up a wall, how hard that could be. You know, I tried 3-4 times and I failed. I failed over and over again.
You did fail.
Yeah, and then I fell. So I failed and then I fell. I mean, it was hard, and that's when I garnered respect for this sport and American Ninja Warrior. It is very difficult.
Well, I think tonight, what's so exciting is tonight we have the possibility to see someone get to stage 4 for the first time. And that would be thrilling, to see somebody standing seconds away from $500,000 and earning the title of first ever American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, I want to see somebody complete stage 2 faster than anybody has ever completed stage 2 before in American Ninja Warrior history, because I think it's going to only speak to their strength, but their ability to actually complete all 4 stages.